Hi, I'm Chelsea Hewsome, your host of the Lip Service and Lashes podcast. I'm an entrepreneur, author, speaker, and mom of two. And I'm so tired of women not feeling like they can show up as fully expressed versions of themselves. So here, we're all about that unapologetically, because honestly, we don't have time not to. Literally, because we're busy as F moms and entrepreneurs, but also figuratively, because we don't know how much time we have on this planet, and we want to make an impact now. But if we're doing this, we're making it real vibes only. So let's get inspired, laugh our asses off, quite possibly cry, and feel like you're sitting on the couch with your bestie and a glass of wine. I'm so happy you're here. Let's dive in. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Lip Service and Lashes podcast. I'm your host, Chelsea Hewsome. Today, I have my friend Amanda Soukoulis. She is a former elite athlete and private equity CPA turned functional medicine and nutrition practitioner who transformed her own health collapse into a calling to help high performers reclaim their energy, clarity, and health. With over 25 years of experience as an athlete, coach, and clinician, she bridges performance with precision data to uncover what's actually driving symptoms. Through her signature U3 system, Uncover, Uproot, and Unleash, Amanda helps clients resolve root cause health challenges, restore vitality, and build lives grounded in alignment, impact, and longevity. Amanda, I'm so glad you're here, girl.
Thank you so much for having me. Also, the title of your podcast, it's just Lip Service and Lashes. Give me all the lashes, right?
Thank you. I know. My friend Lou, actually, a man came up with that. And I was like, yes, I freaking love it. Let's do it.
Was it Lou Diamond?
Yes, he's the best. Yeah. I was like, Lou, I've been dragging my feet for 2 years and not putting my podcast out because I can't think of a name because I like block myself when stuff like that happens and I'm not creative. And he's like, let me work on this. I was like, great. Yeah. I love Lou.
So good. Me too.
Oh, well, and we met through Amberly Lago, who so many of my podcast guests have come from, and we just adore her too. So I'm so grateful that she brought us together to meet in Texas years ago now. So glad to always stay connected with you.
Yes, me too.
All right. Well, we're diving right in. So tell us, I know you were an athlete. So tell us about that journey, because I know, kind of lead up to it. And then I know you had so many large changes that got you to where you are today. And you had this, like you said, health collapse. Can you talk us kind of through that journey?
Sure. Yeah, I would love to. So I grew up as a dancer. I played pretty much every sport you could think of growing up. If there was a ball, a court, a field, a studio, I was there, I was doing it. And eventually had to make the decision, okay, I got to go all in on one sport because it's a lot easier to go deep on one thing and be really, really excellent at it. And I learned that in high school. And I said, dance is my thing. So that took me to Penn State, where I was a member of that team for 4 years and then an assistant coach for a year. We got to perform in front of over 100,000 fans every weekend in Beaver Stadium. We got to compete at the highest level. And when I finished up at Penn State, I said, I'm not done dancing. And so I ended up moving out to Dallas, Texas, where I became a finalist for the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. And I was all over Netflix. And then
you were.
2 months later, my health collapsed. And, it's funny, not funny, but to me, it felt like a health collapse, right? Where, and I'll explain what happened, but really it had been about 10 years in the making, because the very first time I ever went to a doctor with concerns over my gut health specifically, I was 16 years old. And so fast forward 10 years and I finished the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. I looked like the optimal healthy individual, right? I was training, I was fueling my body properly. 2 months later, all of a sudden, my energy levels just didn't feel right. They had kind of plummeted a bit. And so I started paying close attention, and I noticed that my heart rate variability had actually plummeted. And if you're not familiar with that metric, it tells you how balanced and ready your nervous system is to take on the day. And that number is important because the higher the number, the better. and mine was in the 90s and it shot down to the 60s almost overnight.
Wow.
And so I took that information to the doctor and said, something's not right. My HRV just plummeted. My energy is low. And the doctor had no clue what I was talking about. So they just kind of like shoved it off. They said, you're fine. You're normal. All your blood work looks fine. And so a few months later, all of a sudden brain fog sets in. I'm in my mid-20s. My brain should be functioning perfectly.
Right.
Yeah, and I went from having about 8 to 9 hours of productivity in a day to about 2, and I was working in a very demanding job in private equity at the time, and all of a sudden I could hardly get out of bed. And I didn't have the energy to show up for my job. I didn't have the energy to show up for my workouts. I was waking up in the middle of the night, which most of the time those kind of symptoms where you're waking up between 2 to 4 a.m. happens when you're in perimenopause. That was not happening. Like I wasn't in that age
you're like, this shouldn't be happening at this point.
This shouldn't be a thing. Yeah. So it was kind of just symptom after symptom after symptom. And then one day I had walked into my OBGYN. I told her, hey, I got some lab results back. My estrogen levels are postmenopausal. And she looked at me and said, well, you're trying to get pregnant right now. And I said, no. And she said, well, then I don't really care. And I'm sure that was well-intentioned, but didn't come across that way. And so I left the doctor's office that day. I said, okay, if I'm going to heal, it's going to be up to me. And so that was the day that I made the decision to cut off anything else that wasn't going to serve my highest version of my health. And that's when I became the CEO of my health. That's when I dove headfirst into functional medicine. And what I uncovered in all of the testing that I did was that there was a lot of things under the surface that had been building over the past 10 years. Even though I ate clean, even though I trained every day, even though I was drinking enough water and taking care of my body and nourishing my relationships in my life, my health was slowly collapsing over 10 years. And so what felt like it happened overnight really was the sum of 10 years of little things that I didn't realize. And what we learned was that there was a bacterial pathogen that was in my gut. My thyroid was a little bit sluggish. I was having significant adrenal fatigue. And later on, I ended up catching black mold as well. So there was just a lot of different things that happened. But I'm so grateful because had I not walked through that 18 months of winter, I wouldn't be sitting right here with you on this call today. And we wouldn't be having this conversation because I probably still would have been working in private equity. It probably would not have turned what had happened to me into something of so much purpose.
Yes. And I love your story and you truly have taken it and ran with it. But I will say I have also gone to the doctor so many times and with like, oh, you're fine, and we know we're not fine when we are feeling off. We can't say what it is, right? But we're like, something is not right. And that the first doctor, when I ended up having a broken foot, I had to go to 5 doctors to find out. But the first guy was like, oh, I think you just need to rest. And I'm like, no, I don't really get much rest, dude. Like this is not a thing. And I kept pushing and pushing. Right. And so I love that you did too. It sounds like you had some of the doctors at the beginning, like, don't worry about that now, or, oh, it's not a thing, but you knew in your gut, literally and figuratively, like this, something's wrong. And I think a lot of women deal with that.
Yes, I think a lot of people in general deal with that. I have men come in and say the same things, and we're in a sick care society.
For sure.
And there's a need for Western medicine. If I break a bone, I'm going to the doctor.
Yeah, right. You're not going to the medicine man to like do something. Like there is a need, yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
However, I will say that the health span versus the lifespan in America is a statistic that people should actually pay attention to. And, the lifespan in America is 76. The health span is 64. So for over a decade, most Americans are living with some kind of chronic condition or disease. I put that as you are slowly dying. You're not thriving.
Yeah.
And so how do we add longevity to your life? How do we add more vibrance to your life so you wake up with energy? Because I know that when I didn't have energy all of my efforts were going to getting better. And so I couldn't
Yeah.
focus on my dreams. I couldn't focus on those ideas that were in my brain, that were on my heart, that I wanted to do in this world. And as soon as I got back to a place of health, I was able to really step into all that I know that I was called to be. And I think that is what is most important about your health, is that then you
Mhm.
can go pour from a full cup, not an empty
Yeah.
cup.
Yeah, and feel energized and put out into the world what you're meant to at the energetic frequency and at the level that you should be, right? Not just struggling to get through the day and exhausted all the time. I love that. So,
Exactly.
what do you, and I'm asking selfishly about all this, but what do you find the biggest things with women are, like middle-aged 30, 40-year-old women? What, like you had mentioned hormones, I think can play a lot of a part in that. But like when you're doing all this testing and stuff, what are maybe the top few things that are coming up for women?
Sure. So symptoms are signals. They're your body telling you that something is not okay inside your body. And I see that hormones are usually often signals as well. They're not usually the root cause. The
Okay.
root cause for the hormonal imbalances are often a little bit deeper rooted. And
Okay.
one thing that's low hanging fruit would be a lack of efficiency with micronutrients. So, majority of our population here in the United States is inefficient with vitamin D, meaning that our vitamin D
Mhm.
levels are well below the optimal range. And I look
Yeah.
through everything through the optimal lens. And what I mean by that is if you look at standard blood work, anything that's within the normal range falls between 95% of our population.
Okay.
Most of the people that are going in to get blood work are going in because there's something wrong with them. So that already in my mind is saying, that's a little bit skewed,
Yeah,
right?
true. Very true. Mhm.
And how I look at things is I care not just what's normal, but what's optimal for your body. And when we look
For
at
sure.
what the definition of health is, even with the World Health Organization, they will say it is full function physically, mentally, and emotionally. And
Mhm.
so if you fall into the normal range, most of the time that doesn't mean that you have full true health. So when we're looking at things through an optimal lens, it takes the range from here all the way in.
For
And so
sure. Okay.
vitamin D is a great example. Most people, I would say, some fall somewhere between 30 to 50 with their vitamin D levels. If your
Okay.
vitamin D is not at least at 60, you need to either be getting a lot more sunshine every day or you need to be supplementing with vitamin D. That is what I would say is low hanging fruit, those
Okay.
micronutrients.
Sure.
Then there's some of the deeper rooted issues. And the two most common things I see there is that there's something going on with your gut. So that could be an overgrowth
Mhm.
of bad bacteria, that could be digestive insufficiency, which is not just taking a digestive enzyme. There's different types of digestive enzymes that
Okay.
we actually test for to see what does your body specifically need. So there's
Okay.
digestive insufficiency, there could be fat malabsorption, which means that your body's having a hard time processing the fats. There could be
Okay.
parasites or pathogens, and I would say the most common thing that I see that people throw around, which is a trash can diagnosis, right? You have irritable bowel syndrome, right? Which is just telling us that you have intestinal permeability, you have a quote leaky gut. And what
Mhm.
happens is that over time our our gut wall is only one cell layer thick, and so it gets separated a bit, and all of a sudden these tight junctions get a little bit loose, and when that happens, toxins flow out of the body into the bloodstream, and when they
Okay.
flow into the bloodstream, that's what creates some of this inflammation, some of the lower energy. Sometimes you could have brain fog or memory issues, or you're just like, I don't have name recall right now, I don't know what's going on.
Mhm.
And so there's so many different things that could be going on in the gut, but the gut is the second brain. 70% of our immune system is in our gut, 90% of our serotonin is in our gut. So knowing that our gut holds the keys to so many different body
For sure.
systems, it's really crucial to know that your gut health is really, really like a priority. And
For sure.
there's a difference between gut health and gut healing. So if
Mhm.
your gut needs work, if you had any of those things that I just mentioned, a probiotic is not going to fix it. A probiotic could actually add fuel to the fire and make things
Really?
worse. Give a probiotic into an environment that has an overgrowth of bad bacteria, it's going to make that bad bacteria grow even more.
Oh, true.
Yeah, so that would be, so we have our lack of efficiency with micronutrients, then we have something that's going on with the gut, and the final thing is toxins. And we live in an environment where there are so many different toxins at play, right? There's toxins in our makeup, there's toxins in our laundry detergent, in our soap, in our, like, literally everything. But there's also, so those
terrifying.
those are most commonly known as like endocrine disruptors, right? They're impacting our thyroid, they're impacting our sex hormones, but there's also heavy metals. I see this often found in people that are in specific areas of the country where there was either gold mining or a lot of manufacturing. The heavy metals fall into the water. Those heavy metals take a really long time to get out of the body. The most common hidden test that we actually uncover a lot is with mycotoxins. So this would be mold toxicity. And that could be from an indoor environment that you're living in. That could be in different foods. That could be in different drinks. And how I look at toxins is that the bathtub keeps filling. And if we don't have a way to properly drain out the toxins, it's just going to keep filling until your body can't take it anymore. So right now it might not be a problem, but if you don't address this and you don't properly open up your detoxification pathways, it can become a problem.
Oh, true. And it just keeps compounding. And then you're sick and you're exhausted and you have all these issues, right? And you're like, what's happening? For sure.
Exactly.
Okay.
And sometimes those are the toxins are the more hidden piece to what's going on.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of people might be like, oh, I take a probiotic, I'm good. I take a multivitamin, I'm good, right? But like you said, you could be actually making things worse. So do you work with women all over the country and men all over the country? And if so, like, how do you partner with people local to them to do these tests, or how does that all work?
Great question. So the beautiful part about the lab company that I work with is you can literally do all of the testing from the comfort of your own home.
Oh, cool.
So the kits will be shipped to you. You'll be able to do everything from home. We can even get a phlebotomist to come to your house, which is phenomenal. You don't have to go into a scary little place, right, to get your blood drawn. Someone could come to you. And yes, I work with people all across the country, from Florida to New York, Massachusetts, Texas, California. I'm across over 20 states right now in the US, which is such a blessing. So I work on every time zone. I have some international clients as well.
Oh, awesome.
And that's the beautiful thing, is that we have technology that allows me to serve people all over the country and to partner with people. And our lab partner, they're great. The kits come straight to you. You literally just do them from home and then you ship them back and then we get your results. Yeah.
Oh, very cool. Well, I'm just so proud of you. And, I was like, so, I know it was after the fact, but with the Netflix Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, I was so proud to see you on there. And I know you're a phenomenal dancer. Like, oh my gosh. And I was always rooting for you. So whatever, it's their loss, not, but you were a phenomenal dancer and athlete. And, watching you, and anyone would look at you then and say, oh gosh, she's just the epitome of health, right? But it was all these slow things like leading up to it. So I'm so proud of you that you were able to take a step back and be like, actually, something's wrong. And now you have created this beautiful company and you're thriving and you're just out there doing what you're meant to do. So I'm so proud of you. So let's see, I got to see, how has your definition of success or optimal performance evolved in the last couple of years? Like, what does now success mean to you versus maybe what it did back then?
Sure. I don't believe that success has really changed in my mind as far as what I see to be success. I think success and integrity go hand in hand, and it's living
Mhm.
my daily values, living my standards each and every day, showing up to be my best self. Now, who my
Mhm.
best self is has changed and evolved over time. And so that's probably where we would say, okay, well, what does success look like for me?
Mhm.
And I know what it feels like to lose your health overnight. And I
Mhm.
know what it's like to be dismissed and to not have answers and have to fight for your health. And
Yep.
so my health comes through a sense of freedom. And when I was young, I had the opportunity to travel all over the world, to Africa on mission. I lived in Europe for a summer. And so
Cool.
there was a lot of time where I saw through the lens and perspective of so many different people. And so I've been able to
Mhm.
relate to a lot of different people over the years. And a sense of freedom I felt through travel was really, it flipped my lens when I had this health collapse, because I thought that freedom was more external, but really freedom is inside out. And that's where
Mhm.
walking in integrity with what matters most to me, who matters most to me,
Yep.
that's what I see. So to me, success is being able to live out your freedom and to live out your core values every single day, and to do what has been put on your heart to your best ability, to serve those around you, and to just show up fully every single day.
Mhm. Well, I love that all and I completely agree. And really when I've had a few health things over the years and I've also seen others who are dealing with physical health things, and really when your physical health is struggling or failing you, or or something is happening, it's really difficult. And then you don't maybe realize, like, you're thinking, oh, I'm taking pretty good care of myself, right? But once that physical health is gone or struggling, it is a game changer. You struggle more with your mental health, you struggle more to function at all in daily life when that is taken away, right? So it's so important, no matter what age you're at, to be living your healthiest way that you can right now. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would even say I have the gift of perspective of knowing what it felt like to
Hmm.
be on top of the world with my health, and then to have it stripped from me in
Yeah.
a very short period of time. I would say, based off of the hundreds of conversations that I've had with men and women over the past few years, that
Hmm.
most people lose their health over 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And it happens over such a long period of time that they don't even remember what it feels like to be healthy, what it feels like to wake up with energy, what it feels
Hmm.
like to be able to go do all that they were put on this planet,
Hmm.
because they've just been surviving. They've been in
Yeah,
survival
not
mode.
thriving. They're just surviving, which is so sad.
Yeah. And so that's where sometimes we have to shift the mindset. Okay,
Mhm.
well, when was the last time that you felt your best? Oh, it was 2 decades ago.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what have you done to solve this? Okay, what, how much is this actually a priority for you right now? How much does your
Yeah.
health actually matter to you, and why? I find that
Mhm.
people that have a deep enough why to really heal and optimize their health, they'll do anything. And
Yeah.
that's where it came down to me. I said my health means so much to me because it's
It
afforded
does.
me to be able to dance in front of some of the greatest crowds in the world, I would say, arguably.
Mhm.
And because of that, I felt so alive. And so I knew that
Yeah.
I was willing to do whatever it took. I literally spent $70,000 in a year on my health when I
Trying to
first got
figure
sick,
out.
trying to figure out
Wow.
what was going on.
Wow. And that, I mean, energy wise, time wise, monetarily wise, like that's a lot. But I know you and it's important to you. And like we won't, you and I and a lot of the friends that we have that we share, we're not okay with just surviving. We need to be thriving, right? And we have so much work to do here on this earth that we feel called to do, right? And it's when you're not having that energy or you're feeling exhausted, even though you're sleeping 8 hours a night or whatever, like it adds up. And it's to be a high performer leader or whatever it is, right? We have to demand more. So I love that you fought for yourself and it's showing, and I just am so proud of you. Okay, so talk to me about mindset, because I know, you're looking at it from, you're doing the actual test, you're getting data, all that. What is your work with mindset as well for a lot of your clients, or a lot of them need like a mindset shift a little bit?
I work with such a wide range of people, so
Mm-hmm.
everyone is going to need different and tailored mindset work.
Yeah.
Some people come in and they're doing well, and then they kind of fall off track for a week or two. And
Mm-hmm.
one conversation comes to mind so strong. This client of mine was a D1 football player. And then when he had finished, he started doing Ironman training, and
Mm-hmm.
we've been working together for about a year now. And
Okay.
he was having a really just tough week. He said, Amanda, I've fallen off track again. And I just had a hard look at him, and I said, what are your core values? And he just sat there for a moment, and he was like, what matters most to you? And so we talked through that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the next day he sent me a Substack post, and he had put it all together. And so now we know what he needs to tap into on those days where things are hard.
Yeah.
So that's one example. I would say, and there's a whole nother field of people that either food is an emotional way to cope,
For
or
sure.
it is a social way to cope.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's more where I bring in my tactical work, where we figure out, okay, how can we substitute this?
Yeah.
Most of the time, you can't completely remove a habit. You just have to replace it with something else. So,
Yeah.
what can we swap it with? Okay, what can we stack this habit to so you don't forget it every day?
Yeah.
Right? So there's some piece of it that's tactical work. There's some piece of it that's, okay, let's have a hard conversation to know what's your why, what's going to make you tick. And
Yeah.
then there's also another piece of it where sometimes people just need to talk it out, because they've
Yeah.
never actually had someone that is willing to sit there in the mud with them and listen
Mm-hmm.
to what it's been like to struggle with this health challenge for 2, 3, sometimes 4 decades.
Yeah, for sure. You're almost like a therapist in this way, helping them. And I love that you mentioned that, because it's almost like the habit replacement, right? Years ago, I don't know why, and I've talked to other people about this, like at night, it's like, oh, are kind of finally winding down a little bit. You want to relax, and you just feel like you should have a glass of wine. And then you start doing that numerous times a week, and then it makes you feel like shit. And then it's like, okay, so I realized, like, I just literally need something in my hand. So drink some freaking tea. You don't feel good when you sit and drink wine every night, obviously. But it was just a mental thing. I'm like, how simple is that, right? Or some people get the munchies or whatever. Then get a healthier snack or something. But that, I've heard of the habit stacking too, pairing a new one with one that you look forward to or is already beneficial, right? That's huge. So I love that you mentioned that too.
Oh, and I will be the first one to say I have the biggest sweet tooth in the world.
So do I. It's so bad.
It's probably because I grew up and there was always a pint of Ben and Jerry's in our freezer, and my dad would eat a pint almost every night, and his health
Yeah.
is like very, very good. So he just doesn't get stressed.
You're like, really, Dad?
It's amazing. But I have
Oh,
such a
that's good.
sweet tooth, and so I had to learn, okay, let's replace that. And so for
Yeah.
me, I found a dark chocolate that's really actually healthy, that doesn't have additives in it. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
feel bad about eating a piece of that dark chocolate.
For sure.
I also don't feel bad about making myself magnesium hot chocolate at night. That
Mm-hmm.
helps curb my sweet tooth, right? So it's
For
like,
sure.
we don't need to be up against this friction, because if you completely remove it, then you're going to
You're
all of
going
a
to
sudden,
go
hey,
crazy. Yeah.
yes, yeah.
Yes. And then you're going to go, like, actually, I will never, I personally, nothing against this, but Whole30s, I personally cannot do that, because the last time I did that, and it was so, depriving, I lost like 11 pounds, I think. I gained 13 back, because I was like, the day it ended, I'm like, I got donuts and I got a cheeseburger and I drank the wine. Like I went insane on the way back. So I actually gained more than I lost. And I'm like, yeah, apparently that mindset of all or nothing does not work for me anymore. Like, and I knew like, you're a psycho, like you cannot do this. It's not, yeah.
Yeah, that was actually one of the biggest mindset shifts that I had to make personally.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that a lot of us high performing women, we have this all or nothing mindset in every area of our life. And it can be used to our advantage in a lot of different areas. But when it came to my health, it's kind of what led to my absolute collapse. And so learning that because of genetics testing, I actually found out that my body needs sleep more than it needs strength training. Because genetically, I have these superstar genes that tell me that I have high power output. And so I work very hard in the gym, but really what I learned was that I have high inflammatory markers, and sleep is the number one anti-inflammatory. And so once I dialed in my sleep, once I figured out how to optimize my sleep actually through peptide therapy integration, that's when my body started to really listen to me.
Oh, I love that. And yes, I jokingly like push my family out of the way on the way to go to bed at night at 9 p.m. I'm like, well, that's about it. It's time. Everyone get out of my way. I'm like, stop messing with my sleep, people. All right, girl. So tell us, where can we find more about you and all your offerings? And then how can we support you?
Yes, thank you. So my website is amandasoukulis.com. That is spelled Soukoulis. You can find me on Instagram at Amanda Souks, Amanda Souks. I'm also on YouTube. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on TikTok. I'm on all the platforms. So you could find me everywhere. I'm most active on Instagram. I'm most often in my DMs there. Shoot me a message. Tell me you found me from this podcast, and I love to connect with all of the listeners and really look forward to being able to chat with you if you have any questions about your health, if you want to know more about what kind of tests can we run, or, hey, this is what's been going on with my health. Is this something you can help me with? We can book a strategy session, be able to talk through what that might look like.
Okay. And I will link everything, but girl, I would love you to send me an email because I want to do this. So it's time. And so I'm going to be doing this, everyone. So you can do it along with me. So yes, I want to get the test, find out about what all we can do. So we'll chat after this. But yes, and I will post everything. So you please connect with her. She's such a beautiful woman out doing amazing things in the world. So thank you for all you're doing, and, all the women you're inspiring, and men too.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Everyone out there, go be excellent. Go do what sets your soul on fire. And thank you so much for having me on the show.
Love it. Thank you. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Go follow Amanda, and please reach out to her. Like I said, I'm literally going to be doing this very, very soon, as soon as possible. So we can jump in together. So always remember, no BS, just real vibes. I'll see you next time. If you loved the episode, share it on Instagram and tag me so I can say thank you and meet you, or share it with a girlfriend who you know would love this too. Always remember, no BS, just real vibes. See you next time on Lip Service and Lashes.